Good morning, everyone. And today I want to talk about why we ask so many questions. And in this case, something very, very, very specific. Okay, so first things first, as you know, Tax Goddess asks a million questions. And we know it's especially hard for brand new clients because no other CPA has ever asked you this many questions. But we ask questions in order to try to help, right? To try to make sure that you're doing everything above board, you're crossing those T's, dotting those I's. So that's why we ask the questions that we ask. Now, today specifically, I want to be talking about the question that we ask about, do you have any property, people, or sales in a foreign state, in a different state, okay? For many people, they don't, right? You've got a brick and mortar store. People in your state physically walk into your store. They buy something from you. So very rarely do you have somebody from another state. Do you have income from another state? But what if you're selling stuff online? What if you have two stores? What if you, for example, your main store is in California, but you've hired a salesperson, a W-2 salesperson in Colorado, okay? In all of those cases, you do have people, property, or sales in a different state. And a lot of people don't kind of recognize that or think about that. Now, the reason why we bring this up and the reason why it's important, different states have different filing regulations as to whether you do or do not need to file a tax return for that state, okay? So the two that are actually pretty common and pretty normal across all 50 states and the territories is if you have property. So if you're renting an office there, if you're renting rental property there, if you've got some sort of physical property that is in that state, maybe a storage facility, something like that. The second one is if you have people, so W-2 employees that are in that state. Now, some of the states also count 1099 contractors as if they were W-2 employees for this purpose. Okay, so if you're doing the digital thing and you live in Colorado and your secretary is in Virginia, you might have to file both Colorado and Virginia. Now you can hear in my language, might, maybe, okay? This is the reason why we ask questions, right? Do you have any of these things? Because if you don't tell us, we can't go look at the rules, and the rules change all the time for Colorado or Virginia or California, right? So it's very, very, very important that you at least bring it up to us, right? The answer may be, nope, you're good, you're safe, you fall below the limits, the state does not count 1099s, they only count W-2s, right? So you might be safe, but we ask this question to make sure that you're safe, okay? Now, the third one is sales. And this is where it gets really weird, okay? In the other two, right, property and people, you have property, you have W-2, you can almost bet 99% you will have to file a state tax return in that state, okay? Sales is where it gets really weird. So each state has their own limit on sales. So for example, some of the states say, if you sell even $1 into our state, you have to file a state tax return here. Other states, the limit is like $500,000. Okay, so it's actually very important that you are able to pull that information, that sales information, and let us know if you're selling into multiple states. Okay, so we've got a question. If you're one of our clients, I'm sure you've seen it. We've got a question on our tax organizers for business, for personal, for Schedule C, for rental properties, for any kind of activity from a tax perspective activity. We've got a question on your organizer that says, do you have people, property, or sales into some foreign state, so outside of where your tax home is for your business, for your rental, for whatever, okay? So definitely, please think about it. If you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to reach out to the team or I. You can see our contact just went that way, but contact information for the team and I. Highly recommend that you reach out in Slack. If you have any questions about this whatsoever, the team knows how to research, knows how to pull it up, knows how to look and confirm for you this state, this case, this situation. So really, as a client, the only thing we need you to do is just answer the question, right? Did you have, and please tell us where that you think you have these things. So people, property, or sales in a foreign state outside of where your tax home is. Now, I'm going to tack on this last little bit. If you're watching this and you are not a client of Tax Goddess and your CPA has not asked you this, you could get in some pretty serious trouble with the states if they find out that you should have been filing and you didn't, okay? This entire concept is something called nexus. And often the term nexus gets tied to sales tax nexus. So I've sold something into a state. Typically, sales tax is related to a product, but in many states, it can also be related literally to a service, okay? So you can have multiple different types of nexus. The one in this video is specifically talking about income tax nexus. Sales tax nexus is an entirely different subject, and it would take an hour to explain. Yay for having 50 states. So again, if you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to reach out to the team on Slack. You can text us, or of course, you can always just go to taxgoddess.com, book an appointment, and we'll see what we can do to help. All right, thanks so much. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let us know. All right, thanks. Bye.